When I look up the crescent moon at night, I think of one thing. Treasure Planet, baby! If you've never seen this film before, holy cow, are you missing out? This, along with Atlantis, The Lost Empire, are perhaps the greatest Disney films that never reached mainstream success, and it is a crime that such a thing took place. If you're a fan of Disney films from the Disney Renaissance era, like Tarzan and the Aristocats, then you're definitely going to like Disney's Treasure Planet and Atlantis, The Lost Empire, because these films are the beautiful and perfect blend of 2D, 3D animation mixed together with awesome characters and a fantastic storyline that you are guaranteed to remember long after the credits roll. Now, I could just sit here and gush over my favorite films for the next 2 hours, but actually, no, you know what? I am going to sit here and gush for the next however long this video is. Let's do it! Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Professor, this is my YouTube channel, and let's talk about some of my favorite Disney films that deserve way more credit than they got. Treasure Planet was released on November 29th, 2002, right before the first Harry Potter film. There are a few conspiracy theories out there that Disney purposefully allowed Treasure Planet to be released in a window where it was basically set up to fail because the technology was so expensive to make Treasure Planet that they didn't want to pursue that. Because if Treasure Planet became a hit, then suddenly they have to spend a lot more money on animated films going forward. And we all know Disney and Hollywood in general don't like spending hundreds of millions of dollars on each individual project. I mean, that's crazy. No one would do that, right? Right? Right, Disney? Treasure Planet stars the likes of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I best know as the guy from Inception with the dice. It also stars Emma Thompson, Martin Short, Roscoe Lee Brown, Corey Burton, and a host of other awesome actors and actresses. This film is stacked, and it basically follows a formula and storyline that we're all very familiar with. If you're ever someone who's spent time watching one of the many, many versions of Treasure Island, one of the most iconic books ever published, then Treasure Planet is going to be right up your alley because it follows the same storyline, but I would argue it is the best version of the Treasure Island story, because Treasure Planet allows each individual character to shine in a way that none of the other adaptations really do. Even the original book allows characters like Long John Silver to be pretty one-dimensional, which is fine. That's the role he's supposed to fill. But in Treasure Planet, Jim and Long John Silver's relationship, oh my word, it is so much more personal. You see the conflict in Long John Silver's eyes. You see the sacrifices he's made to get to the point where he is. And when the betrayal happens, oh, it's so much more heartbreaking than in any other adaptation I've seen, because holy cow, Disney did a most excellent job allowing these characters to be adapted not only to the environment that they're being put in, which is a sort of space colonial kind of sci-fi take on things. It's got that very distinct style where it's almost old-fashioned but futuristic at the same time. The ships don't sail on the seven seas, they sail through the clouds. They have giant rockets strapped to the bottom of them. Their sails catch cosmic winds, and there are whales that fly through space, which at the time was very revolutionary and definitely would never be ripped off again and again and again. This film, Treasure Planet, is fantastic. I love each and every character that's featured, even the bad guys. I love that this film exists at all. And I also love how, despite its PG rating, it doesn't shy away from heavier themes. People die in this movie. Not as much as they do in the film that we're about to talk about, but Treasure Planet has stakes. There are things that happen. There are reactions, there are consequences to everything that takes place. And I'm not even going to talk about Captain Amelia. She is a fantastic character. That's all I'm going to say about it. Also, controversial take here. I don't think Ben is that bad, okay? As a kid, Ben was one of my favorite characters. He fulfilled his role. I understand that people nowadays think he's kind of annoying. I feel like that's kind of the idea. And can I just say, oh my word, Morph is one of the best, and I'm not even kidding, and I'm definitely not super biased because I also happen to have a little pink/purple gooey sidekick, but Morph is one of the best sidekick characters in all of fiction. All right, I'm not even capping. All right, Morph is the best. He can become anything, and the fact that they switched out Long John Silver's parrot with Morph, I think that was one of the best decisions they made. Overall, Treasure Planet is a phenomenal film. It hits all the points it needs to. It has some of the most iconic characters, locations, and items. The map, the treasure map, the fact that it's in the shape of an orb and you have to put a certain code into it and twist it and turn it a certain way, it's amazing. It's definitely not the first time or the last that we would see this kind of idea, but holy cow, it's executed to perfection. If you have never seen this film, please take some time out of your day and go out and watch it. It is arguably the best depiction of this futuristic yet colonial sci-fi family fantasy adventure story that I have ever seen, and it is one of my primary inspirations as a writer. Please take the time to watch it. I can't sing its praises enough. Also, holy cow, the Doctor, dude, does not get enough credit. The Doc does so much for this movie. If you try to remove him from the story, everything falls apart. And I have to say this is my final thought here, okay? Don't take this the wrong way. But you and I, we will never be as cool as Jim Hawkins is at the opening of the film, riding his little sky glider thing all over the place. The fact that this hasn't been adapted into some kind of video game is a crime. I'm looking at you, Destiny 2. Come on. Fun fact, Corey Burton was in both Atlantis: The Lost Empire and Treasure Planet. There you go, you learned something new. Now I can mark this video as educational. What can I say about Atlantis: The Lost Empire that hasn't already been said? An hour and 35 minutes of beautiful sci-fi action-adventure family fantasy. This film has it all. Michael J. Fox, Jim Varney, again, Corey Burton, Claudia Christian, James Garner, and a whole list of other fantastic actors and actresses giving it their all. This film is honestly a masterpiece in every sense. It was released in 2001, and it has so much history built into it, not just because it's, based on the fictional historic area, town, city, we don't exactly know. Atlantis is mentioned in lots of historical records, namely from Plato, but Disney took the idea of Atlantis and just cranked it up to 11. Also, the reason the characters look so unique and distinctive in this entire feature, more different from any other Disney film, I'd argue, is because they adapted the art style from the guy that did Hellboy. He has a very distinct look for all of his characters. They borrowed some of that, and they actually brought him on to consult at one point. It's pretty cool. I wish more animated features had that distinct look, instead of being Disney Pixar meets Tumblr, which, is fine, but I mean, come on. You put it up against the art style of Atlantis: The Lost Empire, there's no comparison. Everything about this film, again, beautiful blend of 3D and 2D animation, and holy cow, the body count. This film, Atlantis: The Lost Empire, I think has one of the highest death tolls in any Disney animated feature, and that's saying something, okay? Atlantis puts people down for good, and you see it on screen. It's not necessarily graphic, but it's more like, well, there's an iconic scene where the ship is taking on a lot of water, and they have to shut the door to prevent the water from flooding all the other cabins, and you see a couple guys that don't make it. It's stuff like that. There's ships that blow up, soldiers that lose their lives, people fall into lava, people explode. Lots of explosions, actually. Fire, so much fire. This film has it all. And That alone doesn't make it a great film, but the stakes are so prevalent. The best action-adventure films, like Indiana Jones and Atlantis: The Lost Empire, the stakes are there. You have to know that the characters are in peril, and at any moment, your favorite character, whether they be a main or a side character, could lose it all. Atlantis has those stakes, and I have to bring this up. Michael J. Fox kills it. The character of Milo would not be anywhere near as iconic or memorable if not for Michael J. Fox's excellent performance. And holy cow, can we talk about the bad guy for a second? James Garner kills it as Rourke. Rourke is this big, muscular, military mercenary dude that absolutely could kick your butt 7 ways to Sunday, and he will do it if you get in his way. And yet, you can't help but respect the guy, because he's willing to just go out to the middle of the ocean, face all kinds of unknown horrors and technology, all for the sake of treasure. And he is a bad guy, and I don't like him, but I do respect him for that. It's so good. And the film does an excellent job. Oh my gosh, the submarine. Can we talk about the submarine for a second? The submarine is only in the film for a grand total of about 5 minutes. Actually, a little less than that. And it is arguably one of the most iconic elements of Atlantis: The Lost Empire, besides Milo and the book itself. This thing was everywhere. I remember when this film came out. I was very young, I'll admit. I was very young when this movie came out, but I remember the submarine, they put it on all kinds of different marketing because they knew that that's what people were going to latch onto, and they were right. It is one of the coolest CGI models I've ever seen in a film, and I gotta say, they use it for the time that it's there. They use it very, 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 very well. And I hope to one day create something as iconic as this submarine, as iconic as Atlantis: The Lost Empire, because at the end of the day, this is a story not about treasure hunting necessarily. It is a story about discovery, about pursuing that which everyone else claims is crazy, achieving your dreams, I guess, but basically looking at the world and going, nah, I'm going to do my own thing before the Spider-Verse was even a thing. All right. Milo did it first, arguably did it better. And I mean, Kida is the best Disney princess. All right, there. I said it. I'm putting it out there. I would dare say that Kida is better than the captain from Treasure Planet. I am going that route. I am dead serious. I will die on this hill. Kida's amazing. Yeah. She's great. What else can I say? She's also a really awesome character in her own right. And the idea of using like the crystals as the keys or the power source for all the different Atlantean technology, so freaking cool. Love it to death. Absolutely watch this film. If you have an hour and 35 minutes to spare, which I know you do, watch this movie. What I love most about Atlantis: The Lost Empire and Treasure Planet is that they're just entertaining good stories. They exist in their own little bubble, and they're not influenced by whatever was popular or mainstream at that time. I'm sure if I look closely enough, I could find some sort of reference to whatever was going on in the geopolitical sphere that was 2001 and 2002. But it's kind of hard to find it, and it's clear that the showrunners and voice actors and animators and everyone that worked on these projects was more convinced, or more obsessed, I should say, with just telling a good story. And it's insane how many people today can't even do that. Mainstream people that receive hundreds of thousands of dollars for their efforts, can't seem to get over themselves and just tell a good story. And that's part of the reason why I chose to become a writer myself, why I chose to get into art, animation, whole 9 yards. It's because I, like all of you, got frustrated with what Hollywood was putting out. And it's a shame because we can see through these two films what they are capable of. They are capable of so much more, but they've allowed themselves to become so obsessed with whatever the common messaging is at the time that it compromises their ability to tell a good story. I don't like that. I want to put stories first and leave who I am as a person off to the side. The goal is to simply entertain people, and we're not even getting that. Atlantis: The Lost Empire and Treasure Planet, they do at the least that. They are entertaining. If you haven't seen these films for yourself, sit down and watch them. And the best news of all, these two films have gone on to inspire everyone that's worked on your favorite indie animated projects. I'm not even kidding. So if you want to be inspired, if you want to enjoy the next hour and a half of your time, sit down and watch Atlantis, Lost Empire, and Treasure Planet. And if you've already seen them, watch them again. Thank you for watching. My name's Professor. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Okay, love you. Bye.